In this video, I'm going to show you how to draft a two-piece corset pattern in very simple and easy steps. Trust me guys, you are going to enjoy this one. So just make sure you keep watching, okay? So this is my bust point, my nipple point, and my under bust point. And the entire length of this pattern paper is 22 inches. This is because I want to work with my full blouse length. Okay, now from the center I marked 4 inches and I did this to the hem of the blouse and I drew a straight line. The reason why I worked with 22 inches is because I want you to know that you can draft a corset without necessarily drafting a basic bustier. So I connected my 4 inches marking, that's for my dart placement, with a straight line. As you can see, I extended the line upwards. You'll find out why I did that later. Okay, now it's time to insert the bustier, right? So from my under bust point, I marked 1 inch on both sides. That's the left hand side and the right hand side. I also did this for the hem. Just look at what I'm doing if you don't understand. Okay, and I also took 1 inch on both sides at the hem, and I connected my markings with a straight line. That's from my under bust point to the hem of this blouse, this corset. Okay, now I'm going to connect my nipple point to my under bust point. Okay, now I did this with a slanted line, so you are seeing sort of like a triangle from my nipple point to my under bust point. Now from my bust point, I extended the line by 1 inch upwards, and you want to make the line about 2 inches in width. Okay, then from that point you are going to mark 0.5 inch, which is half an inch on both sides. That's on the left hand side of the line and the right hand side of the line, and I connected these to my nipple point. Okay, this looks like an inverted triangle, but you guys get the drill. So now we've drafted the bustier, it's time to prepare the corset. Okay, so now from the middle I marked half an inch, and I'm going to do this at the top and at the bottom, and I'm going to connect my markings with a straight line. Okay, good. Now I want to start creating the corset cup. So I took that measurement, I had it at the back of my mind. Okay, then from the center, not from that line, from the center I marked 1/4 of my bust, which is 9.5 inches. Then I added that measurement I took there, because you guys know we're going to cut that out, but we need to add it back to the pattern so we don't have shortage around the bust. So from the bust point I went in by 1.5 inch, okay, to form the corset curve. Then from the center I went down by 0.5 inch, that which is half an inch. Okay, I went down by half an inch. At that point I went in by 1.5 inch. So from the top I just drew a curve to that 1.5 inch mark. Do you understand? I drew a curve to form my corset curve at the top to that 1.5 inch mark. Then I connected the second curve to that 0.5 inch mark. Okay, do you guys understand? Now the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to connect my nipple point to my under bust point to form the curve. Okay, to form the cup curve, not just the curve, to form the cup curve. Okay, so I'm going to do this for the other side as well, but for the other side I'm going to connect my bust point to my under bust point, which my French curve. So you guys see that to draft a corset you need a French curve. Okay, some people are good with their hands, but me, I work with my French curve. Okay, so you guys can see how beautiful this corset curve is looking already. Okay, now I went into highlight it with the marker, so it will be very visible for you guys to see. You can see that it's easy to draft this two-piece corset, but there's still some things we have to do here to make sure it comes out really nice. Okay, now we are going to fold the under bust and the hem. We're going to fold them on each other, simply because the distance, it's around 2 inches, and if we want to start calculating minusing, it's going to cause issues. So I just folded it so that we can easily just take our measurement. Okay, now from the middle, not from that line, I'm going to mark my under bust measurement. Okay, and the hem as well. I'm going to mark my waist measurement. For the top, the reason why I didn't need to fold to take my measurement is because it was just around half an inch, so it will be easy to just insert it back into the pattern. But for the underbust and the hem, it was 2 whole inches, so hence why we had to fold. Okay, now I'm going to connect my bust line to my underbust line and to my hem. Okay, you have to take out the pin first for, just to make sure everything is good and nice. So I used my ruler and I connected my bust line to my underbust line and to my waistline. Okay, now I went ahead to add 1 inch sewing allowance to my bust point, to my underbust point, and to my waistline. Okay, now you guys will notice that I marked the bust line, the under bust line. This is because I want these points to be well highlighted so that your corset will be well shaped. Okay, so that your corset will be well shaped. I also did this for the back pattern as well. So you want to make sure you tag your pieces before you go ahead to cut, so you don't get confused. Also tag your cup as well. So this is a 2-piece corset cup, 2-piece corset, so of course it's just 1 and 2. So I went ahead to cut. This is what we have here. You can see it's looking all beautiful and lovely. Okay, so this is the front part. We're just going to go ahead to cut the back pattern. Okay, for the back pattern I also worked with 22 inches. That is my bust point, that is my under bust point. The reason why I marked this is because I want this corset to have the right shape. This helps with snatching the waist. Now from the center I marked 4 inches for my dart placement. I did this at the bust point, I did this at the under bust point, I also did this at the hem. I noticed that some people don't highlight their under bust point when they are drafting the back pattern, but it is very important. Okay, so after drawing a straight line to connect my points together, from the hem I marked half an inch on both sides for my dart, and at the top I marked half a centimeter. Okay, half a centimeter on both sides, on the left hand side and on the right hand side. Okay, and I brought my humongous ruler. It was too big for this pattern, but then I didn't have like a longer ruler, and I connected the markings together. Okay, you guys know we are going to take that part out, so we need to add it back into the pattern. You'll see me do it shortly. Okay, just like I did for the front pattern. So for the middle I marked 1/4 of my bust, which is 9.5 inches. Okay, and that part we're going to take out. I'm going to add it back into the pattern, so we have an accurate bust measurement. Okay, I also did this for the under bust and for the head. Now this back pattern does not have a zip allowance, so you can see that I did not highlight any zip allowance. We are also still going to cut out from this back pattern so that we have that opening for the lacing, for the eyenets, whatever you want to do with the back of the corset. Okay, so I'm going ahead to add that dart we're going to cut out. I'm going ahead to add it back to the pattern, and after doing that I just connected my markings with my ruler. The next thing I went ahead to do is I added 1 inch, okay, on the bust point, on the under bust point, and on the waist point. So I added 1 inch sewing allowance. Okay, so after adding the 1 inch sewing allowance, this is what we have here. I want it to be a little slanted towards the middle of the back. First of all, I'm going to cut out this excess we don't need. Like I said, I started with a full pattern paper, like my whole blouse length, so you guys should know how to draft it, whether you draft the busy bodies or you don't. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do so that it will be slanted. Now sometimes you guys know that when you make it slanted, one side is shorter than the other side, so I'm folding the dart so that at that point it's going to be the same length, so everything will look nice and put together. Okay, so to create the slant, I'm going to go down by 1.5 inch, okay, and I'm going to mark that point, and I'm just going to use a slanted line to connect it. Then I'm going to take out 1 inch. My camera cut me short, so please bear with me. I'm going to take out 1 inch from the entire pattern from the center to create the lacing reed. That's where the back of corset is always open if you want. So I'm just going to mark out 1 inch okay, so that I can take that out. So we'll have that opening that we need to do the lacing and the eyelet for the corset. Okay, so after marking out the 1 inch, I went ahead to use my scissors to cut it out. Then I cut the slanted line. Now, like I said, the reason for me folding is so that it will be equal at that point. So one will not be short and one will not be longer. It will look clumsy. You understand? So after cutting it, I opened it. You can see at that point it is the same length. Okay. After that, I went ahead to cut out my dart. Okay. Then I cut the side, and we have the back pattern. If you've watched up to this point and you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Okay, now something you must not forget, guys, you want to make sure you tag your back patterns. You want to make sure you always tag your pattern, the center back, the side back. So this is what the back pattern looks like. You can see how beautiful and lovely it looks, and this is what the back and the front pattern looks like for this 2-piece corset. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't to come back for more videos, and I'll see you in my next. Keep being beautiful, lovely, and enjoy your sewing process. Bye guys.